Finally, Five Nights at Freddy movie fans, we have the answer to a puzzled question we've been asking since this movie was announced. Is it rated R or is it PG-13? I know there's some people screaming and yelling at their pillows right now. This is how I imagine it.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out.
Oh, you think I'm joking, but literally ever since this movie was announced, there's only been two questions. One, is this movie actually happening? Are we ever gonna see it come to fruition? We got that answer. And two, is it going to be rated R or PG-13? So what I'm going to do here for you guys is breaking down the official rating for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, but I need you guys to be completely honest with me. I know we're going to have wild takes left and right. We're going to have individuals who thought logically and knew the movie was always going to be PG-13. There's going to be the people that defend it like we're saying the movie's going to be bad now. Just because it's PG-13 doesn't mean it's going to suck. Who is saying that? Are you hearing voices? Who is saying it's gonna suck now? There's a lot more to it than thinking it'll suck. But I really know where you want to fall on this, and either way, let's just be happy we're finally getting this movie. Alright, so yes, I was out in the real world doing my own thing when I got a notification on my phone finally giving me the answer I've been searching for, and that is that Five Nights at Freddy's will be rated PG-13 for strong violent content, bloody images, and language. Now, as your friendly movie informer, this is where I should get up on this table, take my shirt off, swing it around, and go, I've been telling you for years, I've been preparing you. But I think a lot of people should have seen this coming. There's nothing wrong with FNAF having a mainly kid fan base. Sure, a lot of the fans who started with the franchise are now adults, or past the 13-year age gap, but that doesn't mean Five Nights at Freddy's fans stop being made. No, the books still get released in the children's section, they still make plushy animals, collectible toys, and even as graphic as some of the material may gets, the fan base is still very mainly kid base. It would have been kind of dumb of Blumhouse not to make the movie PG-13 because it would have alienated a large chunk of fans that are really excited for this movie. Like, yeah, I know there'll still be some fans confused by this, like this comment I got 3 years ago when I said the movie's most likely going to be PG-13, and they responded with, I feel like the movie's going to be rated R because, you know, kids being murdered. My friend, kids being murdered, that's family friendly, y'all. That's a good time at the movies. Where have you been? Obviously joking here, but I think there's like a giant reason why a lot of FNAF fans, myself included, would have really wanted this movie to be rated R. It's not because we think the movie will suck now, because that seems to be like the thing everyone is afraid of, that just because it's PG-13, the movie's automatically bad, and they start Google searching good PG-13 movies and commenting them down below as good examples for why this film will rock. They'll be like, The Ring, Insidious. No, it's because if you've grown up with FNAF or been around the video game property for a while, there's just a lot of things within the games that just feel like they need to be transitioned into rated R. Like, yeah, the main antagonist of the series is a dang child slayer. Use my words carefully for that YouTube algorithm. And I mean, you look at the trailer, that's gonna be a plot point in the movie. They give us flashbacks to the little kids that went missing around Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. You got Mathew Lillard as William Afton. It looks like they're hiding his identity as William Afton, so it could be kind of a big reveal for the people who don't know anything about Five Nights at Freddy's, and well, you would kind of expect them to show the children being slayed, and that's not gonna happen. There's also other graphic things that happen to characters who encounter these animatronics, whether it's you being stuffed inside a suit, which is something we kind of see happen in one of the trailers. You got Mike or another character that's being strapped down to a chair that's about to be just razor bladed by a makeshift suit, or what everybody is dying to see by the end of this movie, the spring lock scene. We got William Afton in there, we got a spring Bonnie suit. It would only make sense for this movie to end with the souls of the children wanting their revenge on the person that took their lives, pinning him in a corner and getting him spring locked in his suit just like in the game. Now knowing the movie's PG-13, that scene's gonna be watered down. It's not gonna be as graphic as some of us were maybe expecting. But even then, some of you guys have been really convincing how they can do the spring lock scene and it's still being very effective in PG-13. It all could come down to like shadows on the wall, just seeing the shadow of William Afton and Mathew Lillard screaming to the top of his lungs while we look at the horrified faces of maybe like Mike or Vanessa witnessing it all go down. There's an effective way you can do that scene where it's still memorable, it's still still pays off, and it has that same kind of haunty, eerie feeling as you would hope for that scene to be in live action, just without a lot of the blood or gore. But I'm not gonna lie, I am gonna miss some of the blood and gore. I think it would have been so awesome to get a scene where a character dies and then blood spatters all over the animatronic suit. Even just like the scene in the trailer where we see one of the characters trapped in a closet and then Bonnie goes after them. That really is most likely all the scene. There's not gonna be anything more to that. We're just gonna see maybe a bloody hand to the window falling to the ground with an agonizing scream, but for the most part, that's gonna be an off-screen kill and we're gonna cut to the next part. We're also not gonna get any Chica shower scenes. You know how much I was looking forward to that? So it's not that adding blood and gore would have made it a good movie. It just would have made it an entertaining one. It would have made it a somewhat satisfying one. The reason like the Banana Splits movie is even at all tolerable is because of some of the ridiculous kills and nonsensical things that happened to the human body in that movie. If that was PG-13 on top of an already horrible plot and cheap looking movie, it would be so boring to watch. Adding that little rated R factor could have just enhanced the enjoyment. And now this leads us into the other delusional conspiracy theory around this is ever since the movie Megan came out, and that got a PG-13 release in theaters, but then when it went to Peacock, same thing that's happening with the Five Nights at Freddy's movie getting a theatrical release and a Peacock release, Megan on Peacock got an unrated cut with all the blood and gore added on. So it's caused a lot of people to go, that's what they're gonna do, Chris. They're gonna release the PG-13 version in theaters, get those movie tickets, but on Peacock, they're gonna release the rated R version. You watch. There's a big problem with that theory. When Megan the movie was being made, it was made with the intention to make that a rated R film. It was gonna have blood, gore, show the kills. And then when the first trailer of the movie came out, which again, go watch that first trailer if you've seen Megan, they change and censor a lot of things from that first trailer. The movie took on a life of its own. It went viral. Kids on TikTok started memeing about Megan, doing her dance, going crazy about the movie, and Blumhouse went, oh my god, guys, there is an audience. People actually care to see this movie. Let's censor it and make sure these TikTok kids can go see the movie too. Five Nights at Freddy's is not going to be able to do the same thing because I 100% bet they went into the movie knowing it was going to be a PG-13 film. And with them knowing it was always going to be PG-13, they didn't film any scenes that were too graphic, that were too gory, because at the end of the day, when they submitted this for rating, they were hoping for a PG-13. So there's not really a way for them to release an R-rated, unrated cut on Peacock because it doesn't exist. Now, I would love to be proven wrong and that still be the case, but like I said, with Megan, it was completely different. That was going to be an R-rated movie. When they make Megan 2, which is happening, they know now the audience for that is PG-13 and they're gonna make a censored version. They're not gonna be able to release an unrated cut this time. So again, for any fans really hoping that they're still gonna release an R-rated version just on streaming, highly doubtful, highly. All that we can really hope for now is that Five Nights at Freddy's is going to be good enough in its story, in its characters, and when it comes to that violent content and bloody images that they're promising here, it's going to be suitable enough to feel like the Five Nights at Freddy's games and not necessarily a very watered down version. Still though, even like I said, as someone who's been saying for years it was going to be PG-13, I'm still a little disappointed it's not going to be rated R. That would have been so much fun to see, but from now on, Willy's Wonderland will remain my R-rated animatronic movie. But I want to hear from you guys. Like I said, at the end of the day, I'm happy we're just getting this movie, okay? For a long time, it looked like this thing was never going to happen. PG-13 or rated R, we're finally getting this film. I'm still excited for it nonetheless, even if some of the kills are going to be watered down. Just seeing the animatronics, the characters come to life, and how they could adapt this story, oh, that's just gonna be fun. Let me know what you guys thought about Five Nights at Freddy's now being PG-13. The positives with this, the negatives with this, anything and everything. Be sure and like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.